Simpson. And Japan have gone absent without leave. This is Whitmore. Hall and Gale both available. It's still Whitmore. It is the Reggae Boys who take the lead.
Ball chat.
Evening, sports fans. Welcome to BCN Sports halftime show. My name is Benton, along with the family. George, Wagwan family, how you stay?
Well, I'm good. I'm here. I'm getting ready.
Let me see if I can get Shelly and Fraser Price. Get my big head out of the way of Shelly and Fraser Price. The GOAT, the greatest of all time. By the way, hopefully everyone is having a wonderful week. This is BCN Sports halftime show, the show for the people to call in and discuss any topic you want. We have a few things we want to touch this evening, but it's all about sports and anything that anyone wants to call in. We'll drop the respective links and number in the chat here in a few minutes. But Junior, how's the week going, family?
Well, good enough. Good. I'm here. I'm waiting patiently for the weekend.
What's going on the weekend?
I hopefully can forward Sunday and say Manchester United is in the top 5.
This is the strategy that I heard. Someone referenced that Ruben Amorim is working on a master plan to topple certain people. So yeah, Junior, good luck to you and your Manchester United.
Yep. I don't business what you want to say it or what you want to say it. We are here. We are happy.
Yes. All right. So on the schedule for today's show, we have Ballon d'Or discussion. Ballon d'Or awards were handed out yesterday. We'll get the family's thoughts on those awardees and recipients of the Ballon d'Or and Copa. Yeah, tell Keegan to come out there. This is live show, all right? Tell the future basketball champ. So come out there with.
Man just everywhere, man.
But Ballon d'Or discussion, we'll get the family's thoughts on the Ballon d'Or awardees and the recipients. We have a lot of football games took place. Europa League, Caribou Cup, and bag of games. Junior will give his thoughts on those games. Maybe some of them meaningful, some of them meaningless. We'll get our final thoughts on, and we have the draw for the Caribou Cup next round. We have Mount Pleasant. Jamaica's Mount Pleasant made it to the next round of the Caribbean Cup. We'll all take a look at the Caribbean Cup schedule. Marcus Collins of Bright Idea Sports will join us at about 9:05 or 9 p.m. thereabout to discuss and give us the week that was in the NFL and National Football League and give us a look ahead on what's on the cards coming up this Sunday. We have, what else? We have cricket news that we can talk about. We don't really want to talk about that.
Well, West Indies will be touring the United Arab Emirates at the start, Sunday, right? I think
so West Indies will play a three matches against Nepal. 3 T20 games against Nepal starting this weekend. Ball chat. BCN Sports will hopefully turn on the camera and do some watch along for those respective games, if possible.
We'll do a review. We'll do a review.
I might do watch along. Let's see how it goes. I don't know the time difference. I think the Saturday game is a possibility.
Time difference big, man.
Yeah, but let's see how I go. One thing is quite noticeable, Junior. We do have a lot of people who log on for cricket. Maybe the audience over India. Them one they always looking for cricket.
But that's why we do like a review show. As a pullback behind the curtains a little bit.
Yeah.
But there's definitely a hunger fight there, and the game is this Saturday at 11 a.m.
Yeah, so it's what, T20, right?
Yeah, T20.
Yeah, so we'll see how it goes because I mean I'm more than likely watching English Premier League. So if I can find a feed, I'll probably do a watch along for that game and do some
I think
commentary
I'm hoping
simultaneously.
I'm
Um,
hoping ESPN carries it.
so
But
ESPN
ESPN
Plus has the
Plus,
rights for the West Indies games in the Caribbean, but I am not sure if they have the rights once they move outside this region. I think
well,
I've
you know
seen some
what?
of the games on Willow TV. And, the home market team usually dictates some of that rights. I know once they're in the Caribbean, the ESPN Plus has been so yeah. So let me know who have the rights. And speaking of West
I'll tell you in
Indies,
a second. Go
yeah.
ahead.
And speaking of West Indies, we have Tour of India coming up. West Indies Tour of India coming up. West Indies release a schedule. Cricket West Indies release a schedule. We'll probably take a look at that if remember. But they'll play 2 games in the 2 test matches in India. Junior, we'll get
Be a
your
winner.
final thoughts on the CPL that just concluded, Caribbean Premier League, and overall assessment and conclude, just a final thoughts on the tournament. Things that went well, things that can improve, and things where you're tired of. Tired of.
For me, so we're starting with that then. So for me, there isn't anything that I'm tired of, but maybe because I am not I'll be honest with you. Because BCN decided that this year we were going to cover the CPL, I started watching the CPL for real. Before it was just I look at the score, see some team play, and so okay, who scored the most runs, who did I just keep it moving, right? But when I sit down and watch a game, and the fact that the game is condensed to within the same time limit as an NFL game, right? That mean it is within the attention span for primetime TV. I don't have an issue with it, and there's nothing I find tiring of it. One thing that I would change though is the knockout format. Once you get to the end, change that format to see who will play in the finals. Let's go to a regular knockout format. And you know what? Why not have, well, I was going to say like best of three, but that might be too long. But maybe the final should be a best of three. Maybe.
Maybe. So, best of
In
three.
ter- in terms of what could make it better, because those Guyanese fans were so engaged in the final yesterday, or the other day, Sunday. That crowd would pay to come back 2 more times, and that crowd would pay and increase even more if it get to a game 3. So just from a financial perspective and a financial opportunity perspective, I don't think they have squeezed the juice out of the lemon enough. There's so I think in marketing you want to squeeze just enough to right when you're about to start losing fans. I mean, you maximize your interest. If you don't maximize the interest, you're leaving money on the table. So for the league to get better, I think they need to revisit that format, maybe a best of 3 in the final, and keep it a standard semifinals to finals.
Yeah, you know, so one of the news that I heard, I don't know if it's the CEO of the league. One of the leaders who in the CPL administrative side of things, he was on Mason and Andrew Mason's show down in Barbados, and he did say, they of course now they have 6 teams in this tournament. So next year, Jamaica is like, there's a high possibility that a franchise will be in Jamaica next year. At the recording of the show, at the time of the show, he said that the documents weren't signed. Weren't signed at the time, so it can't really say it 100, but it looked like it was possible that Jamaica will have a franchise in this thing. And why did I brought that up as it relates to this season's CPL? So watching the CPL this season and for the last few years, it's the usual suspects that are separate that are doing well in this thing. The Ghana Amazon Warriors, the Trinidad Night Riders, the Patriots won a single game last year. St. Kitts Patriots. I think this year they must have won 4 games. There's been some discussions around trying to foster more parity within this thing. Something akin to maybe like, I don't want to even use the NFL sort of model, but I think it's something akin to that. And they're trying to have something along those lines to, they have something like that already. But it's, to me, if they have something like that, it don't work because it's, Jamaica won 3 of these trophies. Trinidad has won 5. It's been in existence for about 10 something years now. So that means only a few teams that win this thing. I mean, we need some part. Like the Barbados Royals were piss poor. Were absolutely piss poor this year. I think they end up winning a single game or 2 games at max. And I think that is the criticism I have of the CPL. I understand that, there is this hangover franchise thing from players with the Night Riders, for example, players who plays in the IPL, like Andre Russell, for example. He's contracted with the Night Rider franchise in the IPL. So he plays with the Night Riders franchise in the CPL. And if that's a model that them are continue forward, I'm not going to sit down and watch Trinidad Night Riders and Ghana Amazon Warriors every year are playing a final. And then one day St. Lucia Kings pluck up. And because when you look at the top of the table, 3 teams were very good. The St. Lucia Kings, Trinidad Night Riders, and the Ghana Amazon Warriors, and they have 3 bug sides. Absolutely bug sides. The Barbados Royals, St. Lucia Kings, Patriots. Now, the CEO or the administrator who was on the Mason Guest show felt like, Barbados was unlucky. It felt like the competition was close, small margins. I don't care if small margins are not. The gulf in the table was huge. Because it's one thing to get close, but those closeness did not turn into wins. So CPL has to figure out a way to foster, I'm not going to say equitable competition, but the bug side them need to be able to compete and try to win at some point. But that's basically.
I agree with you. And you did say you don't want to incorporate the NFL model, but
sorry, Joe, maybe I misspoke. I think they may have something like that already. Are trying to mimic something like that already. And based on the comments I heard on the show from the leader, and I don't know if it'll work. Maybe it'll work, but I didn't see evidence of it. If they do have something like that.
Well, one is too hard to start over the league right now, right? So you can't have like a fantasy draft, right? So you can just do a point forward model, but moving forward, they need to pool the money. I don't know what's the owner's strategy or the owner's model strategy. I don't know what it is, but they need to pool the money in some way. And what I mean by that is, one thing the NFL does that current leagues everywhere is doing, and American sports in general, the owners of the teams are the ones that run the league. The commissioner of the league really works for the owners. He is just one voice representing all the owners, and it's supposed to be a fair and balanced voice. I don't know if CPL follows that model. It would be nice because if all the owners or all the people responsible for each team understand that the healthier the league is, the more money I make. It's not about me making money and keeping everybody from making money, right? So the healthier the league is, the more money I make. That's the NFL. That's the American sports model. So that's why when they do an expansion draft, they all every team designate a player that is of high value, designate for expansion, which saying I am willing to give up this player. He's a good player, but I'm willing to give him up if the new team want to draft him and take on his contract. So those little strategies they can do and build, right? But one thing I would like to see them to do is while bringing in, and this is the MLS model now, while bringing in the foreigners to make the league better, the focus should still be on bringing up the quality of cricket in the West Indies. And that should be paramount, in my opinion. And if they maintain that with the fan support that they have, they will build a successful league. They will.
Well, I think that was brought up. I think Basil Butcher Jr. brought up a point regarding the level of performance from the overseas players. The highest ranked bowler was an overseas player. I think Shea Hope was the highest ranked batsman, and but most of the other stats was dominated by overseas players. Now, and the CEO, I think it was Russell. I think it was the CEO. I don't remember. He says he does understand the point, but I think I agree with his point here is that you're going to bring overseas players who are going to excel. You're going to bring overseas players who are going to put butts in the seats. And that is part of it because, as you said, CPL bottom line is not necessarily to make West Indies cricket better. They might say that, but their bottom line is to make them money. They might make a money when West Indies flourish, but West Indies now flourish now. So at the end of the day, they have to put butts in the seat. So like a Imran Tahir, a Colin Monroe out of Trinidad Knight Riders, Alex Hales, those foreign players, they all put butts in the seats because not only are they impact players, they also make the game more entertaining. Whereas you look on the flip side of the West Indies players, the Shemran Hetmeyer was supposed to be an impact player. Out of Nicholas Perron, you don't really have many West Indian players or batsmen who are high impact, players who people going to roll out and say or show up to watch them. But they don't bring a lot of excitement to the thing. A man might say, okay, Karen Pollard, this, but me I talk about young in their so-called prime West Indian batsman. And Nicholas Perron is probably the one. Shea Hope is doing quite well, but Shea Hope is one of those batsmen who needs to build innings. He needs time at the crease. And he's more akin, even though his run rate is probably his strike rate is probably quite up there. He's more akin to like ODI or Test cricket, but he's adjusted well to the CPL and has performed quite well. So, I applaud CPL for putting this requirement in place where every team has to have one of the rising star young players in their team, in their squad. West Indies rising star players from another tournament, and one of the stipulations is also those players need to get valuable minutes on the grass. So, and I think from a business model standpoint for CPL, that is probably as good as it gets. Because not like West Indies have a ton of a plethora, an abundance of T20 players who then can roll out and say, yo, a bunch of stars there as the people that want to roll in to see them. So I think from that vantage point, CPL will stick to the current model. There was a question asked though. The captain of the Guyana Amazon Warriors, is Imran Tahir. He's 46 years old. Leading one of the leading wicket takers, and also the captain of the team. Some some people wonder, should the Ghana Amazon Warrior have like a Guyanese player captain that team, and should this 46-year-old man still be so impactful in this team?
But it doesn't start though. I mean, if they have a good model and can build towards it, we might see growth in the leagues to where you don't look at MLS. MLS, can you imagine? And sorry to pivot to another league, but this will kind of help the point. When the MLS started bringing in international players and having the international contract, did you ever think that Song Yung Min still being able to play and go to the World Cup would decide to come and play in the MLS? Did that thought ever cross your mind that was a possibility?
No.
And I'm 100% sure if I ask 100 people, probably 95 to 96 will say
no.
Right. So that is the model that they could be going with right now, where you have an old player that is setting a standard, but then the next player that comes after him, let's not go for another 40-year-old. Next time, let's go for a 35-year-old. Then after that, let's go for a 30-year-old. Let's attract the 30-year-old. And then after that, maybe we can attract the young Australian protege to come over and play in the CPL. Because the CPL is only what? 2 months max? It's about 2 months the season run for, right?
Yeah, maybe.
So,
yeah, when them start. I not remember.
So those academy players,
that, approximately 2 months.
So those academy players in England, they're playing. Well, I was going to say they're playing during bad weather in England, but no, they're playing during cricket weather in England. But in Australia, it's winter, right?
Yeah, but we don't want them players. They want to develop.
No, but we're talking about building up the league, though. We're talking about building up the league. Yeah. Yes, we're still going to focus on building West Indies players, but you need to give them good competition to play against. It don't make sense to give them the same. You can't get them each other to beat up, and they will say, "Oh, this man ready. He's ready for playing now because he beat up a man from Leeward Islands," and then you carry him on tour in Australia and him lost.
Yeah.
Give him some of those players to play against as well.
Yeah.
That's how IPL did it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Indian cricket seems to have grown immensely, and I guess we'll see. They have the PCL. You have so many other leagues. So maybe there's other things at play here. There are other variables that contribute to the success of the local team, because Bangladeshi League, Pakistani Super League, those teams haven't really, set the world on fire, So we will see. I enjoy the CPL, and I'm looking forward to actually attending a few games in the CPL, because the atmosphere, the vibes in the stands, the passion for the sport can really, it's a carnival atmosphere, and cricket is alive and well in the West Indies, in the Caribbean. And if only the very bad West Indies team can get their acts together and win a few games or a few series, these people will be rolling out knee deep to celebrate this team and support cricket. So cricket fans are desperate for something in this thing. So Trinidad Knight Riders won the league. The fifth title, the first title outside of Trinidad and Tobago. Nicholas Paran, this is his first time captain in the team. It used to be Kieran Pollard's role as captain, Dwayne Bravo as the head coach. But Junior, I think the important thing for me with Nicholas Paran and the Trinidad Knight Rider is that even though he didn't make a lot of runs in the final, the intensity and the commitment in other games was like, we will not be moved. We will win this trophy. You can see those lines of destination already start set up from early. Like when they played in the eliminator game, it was like, this trophy is ours.
Yes. Yeah, and they caught. Well, I would say they caught form the right way, right time, but they were dominant the whole CPL. I don't think, looking back, they were consistently dominant, and that's a good thing for them. Whatever the motivation is, I'm not on the ground there around them to know exactly. Because every team has a motivation. Every team on the first, before you play your first game in a tournament, you start 0-0. Everybody have aspirations to be champions, right? But not everybody can see it through. Not everybody have that motivation, and they had that motivation from jump. And look, I share your sentiment about wanting parity, but nothing is wrong. Nothing is wrong with greatness, man.
Yeah. All right, that's enough cricket for us. NFL action. Marcus Collins of Bright Idea Sport is with us. Marcus, how you doing, family?
Not well, man. I got a bone to pick with this sports channel, man. You didn't invite me when my team won, and when my team get embarrassed, you won't put me on the show, man. I don't feel well this week, man. This is hard. This is hard for me this week.
Speaking of last week, that was all my. That's all my bad. That's incompetence at the highest level, and it's in line with the Atlanta Falcons.
I think we got a trend here. If I come on the show, we lose. If I don't, we dominate. This might be my last show.
All right, football family, BCN sports fans, we're going to discuss the NFL and the week that was and look ahead with Marcus Collins of Bright Idea Sports. Marcus, how you doing, family? It's been a good week?
Yeah, it's been a good week, y'all. Y'all doing good?
Yeah, man. We outside.
I know, right?
And apologies, Marcus. Next day, I'm gonna make sure I get your logo and get it on the promo flyer and everything. So people get out there and support your brand as well.
Thank you, Junior. I appreciate it, brother.
All right, let's get to the business at hand. And Junior, I would normally let Junior, probably want to make Junior go first, but I'm gonna go first anyway. Marcus, you're the NFL guru. Why are the Falcons so bad?
Man, I've been doing some soul searching about this team myself, and I keep coming back with the same answers. I was walking my dogs and thinking about the show tonight. I had an epiphany. Coaching matters in the NFL, and I think the Falcons have just pretty much struck out with choices for head coaches. Raheem Morris, he's a good coach. I think he has abilities, but as a head coach, he still hasn't shown me he has the ability to lead a team consistently, week in and week out, to make them competitive. This reminds me of Mike Smith. This reminds me of Dan Quinn. This reminds me of some of the bad choices that the Falcons have made in the past.
Jim Mora Jr.
These guys aren't bad coaches. It's just that they're not good head coaches. And if you even think about it, when was the last time we had an experienced head coach that was the Falcons head coach? You have to always get back to Dan Reeves. So we're making the same mistakes over and over. We don't have coaching to get the same consistency of play. The team we saw against Minnesota was a completely different team from the team we saw play Carolina. And that's been the Falcons for the past 10 years. Just up and down, week to week. You don't know what you're going to get. And you can't be successful in the NFL that way.
Why, Junior, why do you have the Dirty Bird flyer in the background, Junior?
I'm sure my support.
Thank you, Junior. We need all the support we can get. It's a travesty, though.
The man is an Eagles fan, man.
Hey, when you're on top, you can show pity.
No, it's not even. Look, I'm going to quote the bad man himself, Mr. Aaron Rodgers. When everybody was freaking out, he came to that press conference and famously said, relax. Relax. And that's my message to all of the Falcon fans out there right now is relax. No, what Marcus is saying is 100%
Man, shut the
true.
hell up, man. Shut the hell up. Shut up. We're 1-2. We got beaten 30 to nothing against the worst team in the National Football League. With a quarterback that doesn't know left from right, right from left. Bryce Young was on his way out. And we just offered Bryce Young new hope. They said, wait,
but Bryce
Young can play quarterback.
Let me tell you something. You have to break the NFL into batches. You have 4-game batches. No, let me tell you, what Marcus said is 100% right. 100% right. I'm bringing Raheem Morris to task. And the thing that I don't like as an Atlanta Falcons supporter is they went and got rid of the wide receivers coach.
Ike Hilliard. That's right. Ike Hilliard. Yeah.
For what? Like if I'm Ike Hilliard, I'm sitting there like, what did I do? Like,
right.
I can't block these guys.
But see, Junior, that's the point. When you don't have control of your team and your personnel, you allow outside voices to come in and say someone has to be responsible for this embarrassment. And then you go do silly stuff like fire your wide receivers coach to say that you're pretty much saying it's his fault that these guys aren't getting open. And as you said, it wasn't his fault that the guys weren't blocking. It wasn't his fault that the plays didn't get in with 10 seconds left on the play clock. That had nothing to do with Ike Hilliard. So when you start making decisions like that, that lets me know that you don't have an organization where I'm the head coach. It ends and begins with me. Everybody else is just a part of the organization. I make the decision. So it's on me, guys. It's not this guy's fault or that. And I need to make changes in order to make it better. And we fire the wide receiver coach, you move the offensive coordinator to the sideline. Now you got another week to show, okay, we're going to be different this week. We'll see.
And it's the worst week to do it with as well. I think this is where Raheem should have come up and just said, look, it doesn't look good. If we don't get better, then go ahead and make the change at the end of the season. But it's a long season.
Yeah.
You still have 14 games left because this is the thing right now. You make these changes, right? You're playing Washington next. You're hosting Washington next. This is not the right time to have knee-jerk reaction. And if you slip, trip, fall, and get past Washington, you have Buffalo next. This is not the easy part of the schedule. However, when you look at the back end, you have San Francisco, who is injury riddled. You have Miami, who is lost. New England, who is also lost. You still have Carolina. You still have to play New Orleans twice. These are all winnable games. Just figure out this rough part of the schedule. Keep the team together. Figure out the kicker. The kicker needs to get figured out. That's number one. Because I think when he missed those kicks in this Sunday gone, I think the team just got deflated. It was like, all right, well, here we go again.
And isn't
that's the vibe I got
from a new kicker?
Yes.
Okay.
And
so what? Do you want to get another kicker?
But that's the thing. So he was the hero in Minnesota. He was the hero. And then he came and be the GOAT. And this weekend, not even GOAT, the bug this weekend.
Right.
So it's not a good sign, but I would tell Marcus and Benton and all the Atlanta faithful, relax. If you can win this, and it's a winnable game against Washington. Washington is not as insurmountable as they were last year. Jalen Daniels is a walking turnover machine right now. Relax.
Junior, well, I will tell you like this. We've seen this movie several times. And we felt the same way that you're saying. Relax, things will get better. But all it equals to is an 8-win season every year. And we consistently have done that. I mean, we can win you 8 games every year. And you can look at the record. We do that. But that's not going to be enough. That's not enough. And what I've seen so far, I'm not confident is going to be enough. Raheem, I was looking this year for him to show me that he was going to be the head coach to take us, that we need to take us over that hump. And in the first 3 games, I haven't seen it. Even the Minnesota game, I really don't give them credit in terms of they were so great. I just think that Minnesota was that bad that night, to be honest with you. It wasn't that the Falcons were that great. So I'm still waiting to see. I haven't given up hope, but I'm being more realistic that this could be one of those, hey, they beat Washington down, but then they come to Buffalo and get smoked. Or they beat Miami. Yeah, but they lose to the Saints twice. It can happen.
I just like I thought about an analogy to kind of equate this thing to, and I'm struggling to find one. But coaches set the tone for organizations a lot of time, and and you're a Liverpool fan, Marcus. So this was the analogy that came to mind. Maybe I'm totally off. So Liverpool went through a period in the English Premier League when they were piss poor, couldn't win an English Premier League title. They won that Champions League title. Somehow, there are a lot of speculations that money got changed, and somehow they beat AC Milan in that title in 2004 Champions League. But beyond that, they were piss poor. The organization brought in Jurgen Klopp, and the culture changed. So they've won Premier League, they won Champions League, they won Premier League titles now since he came and took over. But you see a different approach to recruitment, to how they play. I mean, you get a new manager. It's this continuation of Jurgen. The Falcons, I think in week 1 or week 2, I don't know what happened. I'm sitting there watching a game, and I think the commentator said, well, you can't stop them if you got 10 players on the field. The Falcons was trying to stop with 10 players on the damn field. 10 players. It was first and goal from a 2-yard line, and they had 10 players on the field. And I'm sitting like, what in the world is going? Nah.
You just explained it, Benton. That's coaching. I mean, you have to hope. It really comes down to an organization allowing the leader to be a leader. It seems as if the Falcons have a lot of chefs in the kitchen that are giving their input. Even with the Ike Hilliard thing, I was hearing things that it was other folks basically putting that pressure on Raheem to make that move kind of deal because of the embarrassment of losing to the Panthers. You can't really run an organization when you got all these people in your ear trying to tell you how to do it when this is your vision and what you think this should be. And you should have that control to be able to do that. And I really don't even think any coach in Atlanta really had that autonomy to really mold the team within the way that they think the team should be. It's just too many people in the kitchen that's trying to give them that type of advice. And this is the type of stuff that you get. And, when you get a coach with that type of personality, you see the results when it comes out. Prime example is Andy Reid. Andy Reid, he picks late in the draft every year. This guy knows the type of teams, the type of player that he wants. He's in contention every year. Every year they're in contention. I mean, they're 1-2 now, but they hadn't been 0-3 since 2014.
Yeah, I mean, they can. That team, we can give them a pass because at some point the winning's going to run out.
Right.
I mean, so the question I have is like, Rich McKay, CEO of the Atlanta Falcons, Terry Fontenot, GM from Saints. All right, so Rich McKay is credited with building that excellent Tampa Bay Bucks team that Tony Dungy had success with, right?
Right.
Have we seen that here in the ATL? Wasn't he supposed to bring that to the ATL?
That lets you know he went.
What year is this? 10 years? 15?
He wasn't the magic man. And that shows you the greatness of Tony Dungy. Back to my original statement. If you don't have a coach, you can get any player you want. It's not going to work out. But it all comes down to having the right coach in place to run the organization. And Rich McKay, they were trying to work on his genius. He rolled that forever that he can put together a team. But as you can see, there was no result to any team that he put together.
All right, let's get to some other teams because this is making
All right. Let's pick up the mood.
All right, quick roundup because we could spend the other night all night talking about how bad the Falcons are. They'll play the Commanders this weekend. But that aside, the Ravens, Marcus, the Baltimore Ravens. Detroit clipped their wing on Monday Night Football. Their wings on Monday Night Football. What the hell, man? What's going on with the Ravens?
It seems like they got some defensive problems. Those guys were running the ball on them like they were hot butter, man. And if you can't stop the run, as you can see, you're not going to win. And Montgomery had a hell of a day against the Ravens running the ball. And that's their cornerstone has been defense, even with Lamar there. And it seems like their defense is just not up to par right now. And what we've seen in the previous games is that in the Bills games, they were just trying to keep up with the scoring. And if you look at it, Buffalo scored 40-some-odd points on them, and they were running through them as well. Cleveland just wasn't good, so they blew them out. And then we play a team on Sunday in terms of the Lions, and they show you that if you have a team that has a competent offense, they pretty much can do whatever they want to do against the Ravens. I once again, it goes back to my changing of the guard idea for the NFL this year. I think we have these ideas of the Ravens being this awesome team with a great defense and then the offense with Lamar Jackson, and they're going to be up to par. But they've dropped count a lot in my book because if they can't stop the run, they're not going to beat many people at all. And you saw that in this last game. So I'm really concerned about them. They need to fix it. I don't know if they can, but we shall see because they're going to have some problems.
And you see who they play this weekend. So on Sunday night at 8:00, some big fan base that had high expectation is going to be standing on a bridge. It might be Kansas City, it might be Baltimore, but at the end of that game, somebody's going to be 1-3.
Yes,
and both are in a very tough division.
Yes.
Granted, Joe Burrow is out. Granted, but Pittsburgh is still Pittsburgh.
That's right.
So. And we see what's going on with the AFC West.
Yep.
With the Chargers and Raiders.
And Broncos.
So Kansas City cannot give up ground. So that's a big game this Sunday. Ravens cannot stop the run. Kansas City cannot score enough points.
Right.
What is that the biggest game for you this Sunday?
Name-wise, yes, but not most intriguing. And the only reason I say that is just your point. Kansas City's offense is terrible right now, and I don't really know if I really am calling that Baltimore because at least Baltimore can score. I mean, they can score points. Kansas City can't. So I don't see even Kansas City even taking advantage of the weakness of the Ravens, which is running the ball. They're not even committed to doing that. So they're in a disarray. It's not really intriguing anymore because I think I see who these teams are. It's just going to be one of those games. But this week, just to be honest about it, what I'm really curious about is what's going to happen in the Cowboys and Packers game. And the only reason that I'm really interested in that is because the Packers just played the Browns, and it was a tough slugfest, and the Browns pulled it out. Can the Packers bounce back and get back to that dominant form? Because I think they're a formidable team, but this is one of those tests. Can the coach help them to turn it back on because they should smoke the Cowboys. They really should. But is this going to be one of those games where you're like, wait a minute, I thought the Cowboys were done. I thought they were not. What's going on here? So that's the one that's really intriguing to me. Plus, Micah is going back to Dallas, and I'm curious to see what he's going to do.
What's your take on this Micah story? Because Micah Parsons is a good pass. When he was at the Cowboys, he was their best defender. But is it worth all this hype? And is this another example that Dallas Cowboys are not the organization that we thought they were? Because I cannot think of the Michael Irvin Cowboys caring about Micah. Like you haven't even won a playoff game for us. So when the hell would you talk about you want celebration? No, get out of here, man.
Right.
I
think Michael Parsons built himself up to be more than what he was. In this state of football, there aren't a lot of great players, especially on defense. There's just not. And fortunate enough, he stood out on a team that wasn't great defensively. Therefore, he looked like a great defender. But when you put him on a team with Green Bay, where there are also pretty good players on that defense, he doesn't shine as much as he did when he was on with the Cowboys. So I think the loss for the Cowboys was more hurtful for them just because of the quality of players they have. He was the best they had. But I don't think Green Bay just gained such a big advantage by getting him that they make it out to be. I still hadn't seen him change or wreck a game in Green Bay that I'm like, oh, they got a Reggie White that's going to just pretty much wreck the whole thing. I think Philly will beat them. I still think Philly will beat them right now, just being out with Michael Parsons. I don't think he has that much of a game-changing effect that he would get them over the hump. But I do think they got a good deal. They got him for next to nothing. It's another peg in their defense that they can help to develop. So that was a win for them, but it hurt Dallas more because they have nobody. They have nobody.
And CD Lamb is out as well this Sunday. So
the Packers should win, right?
Yep, should.
But I tell you what, I'm guaranteeing that is going to be a competitive game. I'm putting that on record. Only because Sunday night, the Cowboys just got embarrassed. The Packers just lost a heartbreaker to the Browns. It's going to be a competitive game. I'm putting it out there.
Jerry's World. This is what Jerry's World is all about.
Yeah.
So, and news flash, and I bet I was going to hear this for the first time. I'm actually going to the Eagles game against the Broncos.
Oh,
next Sunday. Right. My wife is carrying me out there, so she surprised me today. Say, "Oh, we're going to Philly." Philly's playing the undefeated Buccaneers this Sunday. Are we going to say Tampa Bay is for real? Because I have questions about Tampa Bay. I Baker Mayfield is a good quarterback, but it's just something about him from when he was at Oklahoma till Oklahoma, right? Yeah, Oklahoma.
Yeah.
No, I just don't buy the hype.
Right. So I'm with you.
Yeah, are we going to say that they are for real after this weekend?
I think that, I don't think they're going to beat the Eagles, first off. I think that if you look at who Tampa has played, they haven't played the best competition just yet. I do think Tampa has some flaws that I think Philly is going to pretty much expose that. One of those is that their offensive line. Nobody's been able to take advantage of both of their starting tackles being out. So I think that Philly's defensive line is too stout for that to not be a problem for them. Also, they have a bunch of receivers that are hurt, and Baker Mayfield under pressure throwing to people who aren't really competent is not a good match. So I also think that's going to be a problem as well. And then on defense, the Falcons scored 20 points on them. So my point is that I don't think their defense is that great. So I do think that Philly, the thing about Philly, and this is the thing that I'm just amazed at right now, is that it's like such clockwork now. It's almost like, okay, so what you going to take away from me so I can do this today? That's what they showed me last week. Oh, you're not gonna let Saquon run? No problem. We're gonna air it out this week. Oh, you're gonna take away the pass? Saquon, get yourself 150 yards. That's a complete team. And when you do that, it's gonna be hard to beat them. And the only thing I see Philly losing is they beat themselves by doing dumb stuff. So they're in a good spot. And they really surprised me. And they've gotten better from week 1 to week 3.
I'm
Marcus,
picking Tampa this one.
the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are 3-0, brother.
Rabbit foot,
They
man.
are
This is smoke and mirrors.
3-0.
All
Confidence
3
breed.
games. All
Breed
3
what?
games have been close. All 3 games, my friend.
In week 1, they defeated the Falcons at the Falcons. They defeated the Texans at the Texans. And they defeated the Aaron Glenn and the Jets. Byron Leftwich wins or wins?
Hey, they winning. I give them their props.
Hey, look, Falcon Nation could use them 3 wins right now.
Hey, well, I'm going with Philly this week, bro. I mean, Tampa has the luck on their side, but as Junior said, I break it up into this season into 4 quarters. They won quarter 1. Let's see what happens with the rest of them.
Yeah, because Baker will the real Baker will show up.
Right.
But you know what? Though I'd have to bring this up. I have to let's stay the state of Pennsylvania. You talk about rabbit's foot. I think the luckiest team so far is Pittsburgh.
Yes.
Because look at their schedule. And I'm looking at it right now. Now, granted, they have won both games on the road, but they played against the Jets, which is an emotional game. They beat the Patriots, who is they're growing, but they're not ready. They lost to Seattle at home. But they're going to play against Minnesota, who we know is a dumpster fire. They're going to play against Cleveland, we know it's a dumpster fire. They're going to play against Cincinnati, who is borrowless. Then they play against Green Bay Sunday night, October 26th. You know, Pittsburgh might be 5-1 going into that game.
No, they won't.
And what's stopping them from...
Until I watched the game Sunday. And the Steelers didn't beat the Patriots. The Patriots beat themselves. They got in the red zone about 3 or 4 times and fumbled or turned the ball over. And that game would have got out of hand had they scored on those possessions instead of fumbling. What I've seen with Pittsburgh is that Aaron Rodgers can't move anymore. He's already showing that father time. So teams like a Cleveland probably will beat them. Any team that has good pressure on them, their offense isn't clicking at all. DK Metcalf isn't doing anything. Austin isn't catching anything. He isn't connected with Freiermuth. Warren is barely getting any run yards. So I don't think I'm really I'm really like real cautious about the Steelers not winning a lot of games because Aaron Rodgers he's not the same dude. He's not doing the same stuff. That week 1 was a facade. I watched it. I wanted to see for myself, and I watched intently, and I was like, "Oh yeah, this dude is done, son. It's not happening."
Myles Garrett will be there to meet him. When they play the Browns. See how much you got to say after that game. As we head home to our biggest thing that you have noticed so far, 3 games into the season, at the high level, Marcus. You mentioned that the players may not be like they once was as great as they once was. I mean, what?
No, I think that we have a lot of parity in the league. We got a lot of really, really good players, and it's really going to show in their development and their commitment to their game, whether or not they rise up to be great players. What I'm saying is we don't have these prima donnas that have come in and just dominated, and you just saw from the beginning that this guy was going to be a Hall of Famer. It's hard to pick that guys out these days. And I also think that there are a lot of well-known names that just aren't as good as they used to be. Cooper Kupp is an example of that. Cooper Kupp is with Seattle. This guy is not the same Cooper Kupp, but you hear that name, you think about all the great stuff he did with the Rams. So it's little things like that that's kind of a little bit of an adjustment because you get kind of married to some of the old superstars, and you think they're gonna like Aaron Rodgers. You hear Aaron Rodgers, you think he's gonna do his thing, but we got to remember he's a 40-year-old Aaron Rodgers, and that's a whole nother different dude. But what's really popping out to me so far, how real the Indianapolis Colts are. I mean, I
Yes.
thought Daniel Jones was going to be a bust. I did not think this dude would be as good as he is. I think some cats are system quarterbacks. If they find the right system that fits them, they flourish. And it seems like he is the type of dude. I gave him one more week, which was last week, to prove to me because they were playing outside for the first time, and they did just as well. So I do like the Colts. I also like the Chargers. The Chargers have also shown me that they are for real in terms of being a tough team and being able to win anywhere. And Herbert, even though he still gets hit a lot, I think he's making better decisions, and these guys are in the game and they're making moves. So that's my other surprise of the season so far. And last but not least, I've already kind of stated, is the Eagles, man. I mean, week one, I was just confused as to what this team was going to be because it was just like they showed up and they I was like, they in contention with the Cowboys. I'm like, it's the Cowboys. How the hell y'all let them be in the game? But week after week, they've shown me they're doing the same thing they did last year. We'll run the ball if we have to, and we'll do that very well with Jalen and Saquon. Or if you take away the run, we'll just let Jalen throw the ball to A.J. Brown and Devontae, and we'll win that way. And that's a tough way. That's tough because you come into the game expecting to do one thing, and if that doesn't, you take that away and they can do something else. It takes good coaching to kind of figure that out. So I want to see when the Eagles stumble, like who figures out the cheat code to kind of shut them down. So it's very exciting with just being so unpredictable right now. Some of the old teams like the Chiefs, things like that aren't doing as well. So it looks like it'll be new blood that shows up. So it's still very exciting, even though my team is where it is. But even when I come to pick the games from week to week, it still has me pondering, are they really going to win this week? Is this really going to be? Because everybody has a chance. Even the teams that haven't won a game, they still have a chance. Carolina showed us last week.
Yeah. What's going on with Houston Texans?
Oh man, they're broken. They don't have an offensive line. They tried to go into free agency and get all these offensive linemen, and it's just not working out. And CJ Stroud really hasn't shown much development over from his rookie year up to his third year. And that could be due to change in coaching because this is the second year now with DeMarco Ryans.
You lose to the Jags.
I know. That's how bad they are. I mean, if you don't have the offensive line is making a big difference there, and they can't score. They can't score. And I don't know if it's the offensive coordinator. It just looks real bad. And that defense is overhyped to me because they have these edge rushers that everybody's like, oh, they're going to put the pressure. But you letting these guys run up and down the field. It doesn't matter if you can rush the passer if you can't stop the run. So they're not looking good. They're really not looking good right now. And I feel for DeMeco Ryans' job because he's got to get that together. Too much money is being spent in talent to not be together on that.
The thing I don't...
That Houston franchise has a I got to be careful with the words that I use, but have an aura of not liking darker shade people in systems of power. Let me put it that
right.
way. So you're right. DeMeco might be unfairly axed a little bit too early. Let me put it that way.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. He may be on the block.
Yeah, but the thing I don't get is that CJ looked so good last year.
No, the year before.
Not last
year.
Year before. Okay.
And then we also got to remember, Ben, these guys, I mean, these NFL guys are professionals. And when they get tape on you, if you're not changing up some stuff and developing and doing the same thing, that's what I'm saying. If you're not developing and changing up and getting better and trying to do the same stuff, they figure that out. And then you don't look the same. And we see that a little bit this year. I mean, look at, for instance, Jaden Daniels. I know he's hurt, but even before he got hurt, he wasn't really doing the stuff he was doing last year. They got a whole year's worth of tape on him. So they kind of figure out, okay, we know how to contain this dude. So he needs to figure out what he needs to do to overcome that.
Yeah.
But those young guys don't think like that. They think that their talent can supersede anything, but that's why they call it professional football. These guys know how to stop you.
The Falcons, circling back to the Falcons, we came full circle. Should the Falcons go ahead and make a move with Kirk Cousins, get him over to Cincy, Smoking Joe is out of Dodge, get some money for Kirk Cousins? Because, I mean, why the hell you have this expensive backup? And I think Mike Penix Jr. is giving me a bit of Kirk Cousins vibes. I don't want Kirk Cousins mentoring Mike Penix Jr. with that level of mediocrity.
I agree. I think if they could pull the trigger on a trade, I think they should take it. I think the holdup is taking on some of his contract because it's so much money. So that's kind of
How much
getting
money
stuck.
is he on?
I think they still owe him about $50 million or so, something like that. It's pretty much up there, man.
Man, we need to pick up a donation or something.
Yeah, I know, right? But no, I wish they would trade him to get some more picks. I'm not really gonna criticize Michael Penix. I feel like this still is rookie year. I think he still got to learn. I still think he needs to get acclimated to the NFL. I can't. I mean, I just can't. The NFL's a tough spot, man. It's tough for even the most talented cat to come in. I tell people this all the time. Peyton Manning was 0-16 his rookie year. So
a million interceptions.
Yeah, with 1 million of them. So the kid needs the chance to, grow and learn and develop. And we shouldn't put that type of pressure on him. But I do think he has enough skill with the right scheme and coaching that they can be still successful. It's not like they have to be sad.
I still criticize Peyton Manning. you know what? And I know we got to wrap up. This is the NFL Insider segment with Marcus Collins of Bright Idea Sports. Here's the deal, man. Michael Penix Jr. need a little bit of the dog fighter in him. And what I mean by that, Mike Vick, the dog fighter. What I mean by that is that when Mike was sitting up there in his rookie year and he see that your ass ain't catching these balls and you ain't gonna come and block, he's out of that pocket for a touchdown. Mike Penix Jr. can run, but he wants to sit in this pocket for so damn long.
You need to look up.
Let's get some touchdowns, man.
You need to look up his history. Penix had a couple devastating injuries. He's not going to run out the pocket.
What's sitting in that pocket going to get you jacked up too.
Yeah.
Boy's coming off the edge.
Ben, you make a good point, but it's unfair to compare him, to ask him to do what the great Michael Vick did. It's only one Michael Vick, man. And I just want him to...
You're not wearing number 7, right?
No, he's not. But I do need him. I do agree that he needs to move more in a more strategic and planned way, maybe some rollouts, maybe just some more planned quarterback runs in terms of just getting him out of harm's way. Zach Robinson moving to the sideline, I'm curious to see how that's going to work because they seem to...
Stay your ass up there. It don't make no difference.
No, I'm going to tell you why I think it'll make a difference because every play on Sunday, they didn't break the huddle until they had about 12 to 13 seconds left on the play clock. And he had no time to survey the defense at all. So it put him in a bad spot. They had to call 2 timeouts to not get a delay of game that they wasted timeouts. Yeah. So I'm hoping that it makes a difference, at least gives him an opportunity to be like, nah, man, this play ain't going to work. Check. We're going to do something else. At least give the brother a chance to see and say, nah, this ain't going to work. We got to do something else.
Look, man, I think week 1 or week 2, I said, Mike Penix, give me a little bit of the dogfighter vibes, but I'm going to shut that down right here.
But you know what? Don't be surprised they beat the Commanders. And the reason I say that is Marcus Mariota is quarterback in the Commanders this week. Former Falcons quarterback that quit on us in the middle of the season. Dan Quinn is our former coach. They're coming here to play in the Dome. We went and played them last year. We feel like we should have won that game. Michael Penix played in that
Yeah, I
game.
remember that
So
game. Yeah, I remember that
so
game
he's
in
seen
DC.
this
Yeah.
team before. So there's a lot of things in favor of if they just play their best, they should do well in this game. Because Washington is not an unstoppable force. They're just a pretty good team.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
There it is. What else are you looking forward to this Sunday, man?
Looking forward to that game. Also I'm looking forward to Thursday night game with Kyler Murray in Arizona versus Seattle. And the reason I'm looking forward to that is because the NFC West out there with the Rams played the Eagles outstanding on Sunday. I mean, I'll give them 100% credit. They played an outstanding game. But Seattle intrigues me, and the reason that it does is because they got rid of a lot of people like DK Metcalf, Geno Smith, but they're still winning. So I want to watch them intently. So Thursday night will give me a chance to really sit down because it's the only game on to watch them and really see what they're all about because Jackson Smith and Jigma is evidently going wild. I mean, he's one of the top pass catchers in the league right now. And I just want to observe them to see. Arizona is crap. They're not that good. Kyler Murray should even be a quarterback, man. This kid, he doesn't throw, he runs. I mean, it's terrible. I watched him.
What the hell is going on? What is going on with Kyler Murray, man?
I don't know, man. This kid, I'm just like, are you just running for your life, or are you trying to play quarterback? It's awful, man. It's awful.
But don't get it twisted though. They are another one of the scheduled babies too.
Yeah,
they're 2-1.
Yep.
If they slip, trip, fall, and beat Seattle 3-1, they're going to beat Tennessee 4-1. Then they play against Indiana. I mean, these are how seasons get kickstarted. That's why you break it up into 4. That's why I break it up into quarters.
That's right.
How do you look after the first quarter? How do you look at the halfway mark? If you're close to 500, you are in a good spot. So careful, because that division. Now that you said it, Marcus, I look at the division. I never really paid that much attention to them. That division is pretty sneaky good.
Yeah.
In terms of record.
Right.
Because San Francisco undefeated, all the other teams are 2-1. That's
you see it, right?
Sneaky.
Yeah. And that's why I want to watch them, because I'm like, somebody's gonna come out of that, and they may actually be a pretty good formidable team when they get to the playoffs. And we don't even know it because we don't watch them a lot. So I'm trying to pay attention to that.
And the Rams play the Colts this weekend. That's a good game too.
That's a good game. Good game. Yeah, definitely a good game. So it's an exciting weekend, Ben. We're in junior. We're revving up for another one. I still think it's wide open. I still think the season can go in anybody's direction, even the 0-3 teams, because this year just feels funny. It's just not that one team that you're just like, they're rocking on all cylinders. They're going to run through the league. It's just not a team that way. And the injuries are playing a big role this year that we see. I mean, it's wrecking people's seasons. It's causing a lot of problems. So that's what makes the NFL so great. It's just you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, and this is the big league, of course. The class, the Hall of Fame class. Before you go, I want to hear your thoughts on Fitzgerald and Drew Brees heading that 2026 class.
They both were great players, and they both, I would say, had Hall of Fame careers. I'll start with Larry Fitzgerald. He was kind of unappreciated because he was on the Cardinals, but that guy carried that team for a lot of bad years. He really did. And even in their not so good years, he still performed at a very high level. I was a little skeptical of him coming out of Pittsburgh. I didn't think he really saw enough competition with Pittsburgh to perform in the NFL. But he definitely proved me wrong. And he kind of reminds me of like a Julio Jones. Never was on like a great team. Never was really, shining all that bright. but when you watched them, they dominated and they always came through, when it came down to actually, doing a big game and putting up the numbers. Drew Brees, he had a long career and he went to New Orleans and that's where he solidified his Hall of Fame career. I mean, the guy just was a throwing machine. Him and Sean Payton was a marriage made in heaven, and those guys clicked like clockwork. It was tough to stop him. I watched a lot of his games, of course, being a Falcons fan. He led the league in passing at one time until Tom Brady broke his record. Just based upon all the other cats that led into the Hall, he definitely is one that actually deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. And his story is pretty cool because he's undersized. He got hurt. Nobody really wanted to sign him. The Saints kind of took a chance on him after he got hurt, and the guy just took off. So hats off to Drew Brees. Don't tell any of my Saints fans I said that. But hats off to Drew Brees, though, man, on that. And Larry Fitzgerald, well deserved. And finally, the NFL is just starting to be a little bit more selective. I think some of these guys that they're like, oh, he's having a Hall of Fame career. I'm like, no, he's not. He's not. No, he's not.
Who you talking, man?
I'm not saying any names.
Are you not talking about Shay Shay Club, Shay Shay?
Because I was waiting to say we are now entering those Hall of Fame classes now where it's going to be a popularity contest. Because when you look at the list of the first time nominees, I'm running it real quick. We know Drew Brees, Larry Fitzgerald, Philip Rivers, who I think is a Hall of Famer in my opinion.
Hell no. Philip Rivers.
In my opinion, Frank Gore, Jason Witten, Julian Edelman, Greg Olson, Geno Atkins, Thomas Davis. That's the linebacker at Carolina, I think.
Yep.
LaShawn McCoy, Alex Smith, David DeCastro,
Shady McCoy? Nah.
Yeah, Todd Gurley, Stephen Gostkowski. We're now entering the social media age of Hall of Fame classes. Yeah. And we're now going to start seeing some names. And we're going to say, you know what? Back in my day, that person would have never sniffed the Hall of Fame. That's where we are right now.
You're right.
Did they induct that small running back out of San Diego?
Oh, of course. LaDainian Tomlinson?
No, not. It's not LaDainian. It's not LT.
No, you're talking about Darren Sproles.
Darren Sproles?
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
No.
Crazy.
But you know what? Just on that, like a prime example is last year Eli was up for his first nomination. Eli won 2 Super Bowls, man, but I don't think Eli's a Hall of Famer. I don't think he had a Hall of Fame career. That's just my personal opinion in terms of actual numbers, in terms of what he did. Eli never jumped out on the page that he's one of the top quarterbacks of all time.
He won 2 Super Bowls. You got to put him in.
But did he win the Super Bowl?
Yeah, but he made sure they didn't lose it.
Yeah, he didn't lose it. But did he win it?
But
was it because of him?
Yeah, he won it.
Yeah, but he did throw the ball that pierced the heart of the boogeyman with an undefeated Patriots team, right? So
True.
That carries some weight. But funny story, when my son tried to play football, he tried, but he didn't like football. We tried to force him. Ellis Hobbs was our coach, right? And I'm an Eagles fan. Ellis Hobbs is a diehard Cowboys fan. But he was the quarterback that gave up the pass to Plexico Burress. And I swear, I'm there at practice every time watching him, and he's like, yo, I don't like your effing Eagles, man. And we're just joking. I'm just sitting there like, I can just end your whole mood right now. Just a play. I say, hey, they always talk about you jumping on that what they call it, the in and out route. They call it not the zig, but there's a route that is like a slugger. That's what Plex killed him with, a slugger, slant and go, just boop, boop, and he bit on the inside pass. And there's a documentary out there with that pass where they talk about the Plexico pass, and they said the offensive coordinator called it from early in the game. Like I said, 22 is biting on the slants. We can get him on the slugger. And the whole time I'm looking at Ellis like, yo, I can just end your whole mood right now. Just remind you that you were the one that messed up. that perfect
Man,
season.
try to make a play, Junior. He tried to make.
Hell no. Just stay home. You don't have safety coverage over the top. Just stay home.
So when are we gonna take up a petition to get Darren Sproles in the Hall of Fame, man?
Man, hey, you might just go down to New Orleans and get some
Junior,
signatures
turn
from
off
down
his
there.
camera. Marcus, big up yourself. Big up yourself.
Yeah,
Thanks
man.
for joining us, man. Before you go, one last question. Black college football, Miak, Swag, where can we watch it, man? I've been missing. Have you been able to watch Black college football?
Yeah, you can
What
catch
network
it.
is bringing it?
That's the HBCU Go
So
network.
It's an app or a YouTube channel? Is that?
It's on the they have it on the ESPN app, but they also have it streaming on YouTube.
All right.
But
Man.
HBCU Go. But also check out ESPNU. They'll sneak a game on there as well.
Okay.
What I usually do is I'll just go to the schedule and they'll put one or two out there. Morehouse was on the other night, so we were doing pretty good against Howard. They had a repeat, but we made
like
it
to watch them them with the very good marching bands.
Yeah.
Hey, Tennessee State, come on now.
Oh, that's who we riding with right now, Tennessee State.
And for those of you who don't know, if you ever get a chance, go to Black College Football halftime show, the classic.
Yes.
The football classic, awesome. Yo, make sure you,
let me tell you,
keep your eyes straight where you go.
And I went to school I started school in Tallahassee. I was at Florida State. FAMU is right across the street. And let me tell you something. You see, FAMU's homecoming week.
Yeah. Fun times.
School going on that
Fun
week.
times.
I'm envious.
I like Ben, but like Benton said though, at when a halftime show, it's like a fashion show. It just there like, yeah. They were like, wow, look at the scenery. Wow. And as soon as the band is done, stands is empty.
Back to the tailgate.
All right, Falcons, we need a W this weekend, Marcus.
Hey, I'll be back next week to hopefully discuss the dub, man. I'm gonna be hopeful one more week.
That's what's up, man. Have a safe week. See you next week, Simon.
All right, brothers. Have a good night.
All right, Marcus Collins of Bright Idea Sports join us. Junior, I used to enjoy those college football. Well, yeah, I enjoy all the things black college football. And
let me tell you something, Benton. And for all those who've never experienced it, go to a HBCU homecoming weekend. Just any HBCU. And you know what? That's why I'm happy I did not go to college in social media age, because I wouldn't be able to get a job when I graduate, because I would be out there at some pictures somewhere.
You go to
because
the HBCU, a step show. Yo. Ooh, child. All right. Back to regular scheduled programming.
It's my life, because you're bringing back some memories, man.
Yeah, back to regular. Junior, now to the other football, the real football, the global football. Ballon d'Or award handed out yesterday. Is it me? This is one of the quietest award. This is one of the low-key handing out of an award that I've ever seen. Maybe it's just I was busy or something. Ousmane Dembele and Aitana Bonmati won. Khadija Bonishaw finished 30th. Your thoughts on the Ballon d'Or, family?
This is the effect of Leo Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo getting old. This is the effect of a generation transition. And we've seen it before. Not to this magnitude, because I'm trying not to sound like a hater. However, the baton hasn't passed on well to the next generation, in my opinion. And there's a gap there. So there's not a vibe around the Ballon d'Or like it used to be because the players are still some form of an unproven unknown. The fact that Dembele 1,000,000% deserved the Ballon d'Or this year, right? But nobody's forgetting his Barcelona years. And I think that affected the reaction to it. Everybody remembers PlayStation Dembele. Everybody remembers hospital bed Dembele.
And then
right?
everybody remembers the comments that he made in Japan, Dembele, right?
Yes, and everybody remember the Japan. Let's call it the Japanese Dembele. So all of that plays into this role now, where look at the Ballon d'Or winners all the way across, and wow, Dembele. And then you couple that with the year that Rafinha had. You couple that with the year that Kylian Mbappe had. You couple that with the start of the year that Egyptian had. Salah. Mo Salah had start. He didn't finish great, but he had a Ballon d'Or start, right? So you couple all of that, and then you say, well, PSG won the Champions League, but then look at what happened to them in the World Championship.
Yeah,
all of that plays into this rhetoric right now, where people's like, nah, it's not that impressive of a Ballon d'Or because you just didn't live up to the whole thing, which is unfortunate.
Javier Tabaz and others, some thought that Lamine Yamal was Lamine.
No.
What is this Lamine Yamal foolishness? Javier Tabaz says Yamal only denied Ballon d'Or due to age. Is he trying to egg on the Barca fans here? Because surely Lamine Yamal wasn't in serious contention for this trophy.
And that's why I say I don't want to sound like a hater. That's what I was talking about, the button that passed on. There's a era when we have transitional players and great footballers, and you have the next generation come up. There's always an aura of respect. There's always an aura of still being starstruck, right? I think Lamine Yamal, where his talent is warranted for the hype, right? But I think the hype is going too far ahead of Lamine Yamal. And right now, I think the hype is now ahead of his production, if that was even ever possible. Because now we're going to be having we're now entering into the unrealistic expectation of Lamine Yamal. Now we are now entering into the era of, if he doesn't score a goal or give me some ESPN highlight in this game, he's falling off. And that's dangerous territory for him. He's not getting the transitional period that a Kylian Mbappe got. So, and look, I'm going to tap myself on the back. I said it last year. But say it last year, when people are jump up on, Lamine Yamal is now the best player in the world. Now, wait, did Kylian Mbappe retire? How we reached this up? Right? Granted, he had a good Euros. Granted, he had a good start to his Barcelona career. But best in the world? And that is the rhetoric why people now saying that he's been robbed. Because they are still holding on to that. They're still holding on to that version of Lamine Yamal and not realizing that is a player that is still developing. The man don't grow yet.
Yeah, I don't understand his father's statement and Javier Tabaz's statement. His father Munir Nasroy said that, quote, the biggest moral damage done to a human being, end quote. And I think all them hype, that hype statement is unnecessary. Come on. I mean, the kid plays some serious football. But he and Football Club Barcelona were defeated by Inter Milan in the Champions League. That's it. Pack up. You're done.
He wasn't the best player on his team.
Come on, man.
He didn't. He by the numbers, Lamine Yamal was not even the best player on his own team. Rafinha is better than him. It is what it is. Lamine Yamal is a better baller, but Rafinha had better numbers. So before you go to Dembele, go past La Liga first. Be the best player in La Liga first. Be better than Mbappe. Be better than Rafinha. Be better than the Terminator, last year's Terminator. Before we start talking about Ballon d'Or. Come on, man. Relax. He still has time. We're rushing it. And I've said it last year, and I called it. I said, unfortunately, I don't want to see him get injured. And so said, so done. And we don't know what version of Lamine Yamal is coming back from this injury. We don't know. We hope that he still plays at a high level. But what if he comes back and needs time to work back into the program? If not, look, Barcelona has other options.
Well, let's see. Let's see. All right, so that's it for the Ballon d'Or. Again, Bonnie Shaw, even with an injured year, finished 30th in the ranking. Aitana Bonmate victorious, or won the women's Ballon d'Or, Ousmane Dembele, with the men's version of the Ballon d'Or family. Other football news that occurred while we were away, some games were played today, Junior, Carabao Cup, Europa Cup. It's hard to keep up with all these football games in the middle of the week.
Yeah. Well, it's not hard for me as a Manchester United fan. I just don't care.
In the Carabao Cup, Liverpool defeated Southampton 2-1. Man called Alexander Isak scored. Ekitike scored the winner and took his shirt off. Ended up getting a second yellow
card.
Yeah. Tottenham defeated Doncaster. And Arsenal defeated Port Vale, and among other things. Man called Ebericha Eze scored his first Arsenal goal. Anything you want to add to this? I mean, it's the Carabao Cup. I really don't pay much attention to it until them get to the final phase of it.
Yeah, and I think Saka got injured again.
Oh, did he?
I think Saka got injured again. I think a crunching tackle came in. And I'm pretty sure Saka is injured, I believe. I didn't watch the game, but I saw the tackle. But the biggest takeaway, though, from the Carabao Cup is etiquette. And Liverpool has options, right? So when you're a player on a team that have so many options, you cannot make yourself better or put yourself in a better light, but you can definitely exit yourself out of contention. And what Arne Slot said at the end of the game about the red card, that tells me that etiquette is going to go down the pecking order, and you're going to have to prove yourself worthy to get back in the squad. Because the man basically said, look, if etiquette need to go to, I think it was Slavaslaya, my boy that come in to take over from Salah. The winger that they brought in 2 years ago.
Which winger? Madueke.
No, Liverpool.
Oh, Liverpool.
What's the name of the winger, man?
From where?
I think he came from Italy.
Chiesa.
Arne Slot said he should have pointed to Chiesa and said, thank you for the assist. If Arne Slot basically said, I would have understood the reaction to the goal if he had beat three guys, get into the box and put the ball in the top corner, then he can take off his shirt and celebrate. But you just get one key that goal. Or you go like say score a big goal. Come on, man. And that was the reaction to that goal. And he got a red card and it cost him the game this weekend. Remember, the red card in the Carabao Cup carries over in the Premier League, so he's not going to play this weekend in the Premier League.
Crystal Palace, Junior.
Yes, but you giving up your possible spot. We don't know when we're going to see you again.
No, but they have so many games, and he was one of the he was one of the standout player in this group. He is one of the standout player. In fact, he's been probably the most impressive new transfer. Can I make that statement so far? In Liverpool, out of all the transfers they have brought in, and it's early in the season, Ekitike has been the best, has been the most impressive so far.
Only because my boy, the right back, was injured.
Frimpong.
Frimpong.
I know Ekitike fault if Frimpong injured.
Yeah,
so we're not putting a disclaimer. He's been the most impactful of all the transfers.
Yes.
It's a very small sample size still.
Yes. We know it's not Florian Wirtz.
Oh, hell no. In fact, at this rate, Florian Wirtz might be rubbing bench.
He should be rubbing the bench.
At this rate, Florian Wirtz might be rubbing bench because he needs to sit down and watch some football for a little bit. He needs to sit down and watch.
Yep.
BM
says every time I see players like Lamal, it reminds me how far behind Jamaica's football is. The most talented 17-year-olds in Jamaica are playing schoolboy football.
Yeah, but schoolboy football is not for developed players, right? Schoolboy football is just, I think, for kids on ball. It's youth. It's student athlete sort of deal.
That's an interesting comment, and we don't have the time for discuss that. That's an interesting comment. That is a damaging comment, and we should have. That is the perfect comment to have a Craig Butler be a part of the show to discuss, because Craig.
Bullhead.
The reason why is because Craig Butler has a hand in both parts of youth development in Jamaica. He has a hand in schoolboy football. He also has a hand in academy. And which one is responsible for developing a player? Are both responsible at the same way? Do they both share the same responsibility? Should Issa encourage their best players to go play club football and not play schoolboy football? It's a simple statement, but if you peel back the layers of that onion, Benton, we can have a very long discussion.
Yeah, link Bullhead over Instagram. He's there, very fully active.
I WhatsApp him and say, "Oh, brother."
I think he has other priorities right now.
But I have to reintroduce myself. Good evening, Coach Butler. This is Junior representing BCN Sports.
But the Lamine Yamal situation, again, the youth have Wolipa football left for them. And by and large, no matter if Wolipa football left for them, he wasn't the best player in all of football last year. Done. I mean, all right. Back to Carabao Cup. You said you don't pay attention to it. It seems like Zach, according to the standard, Mikel Arteta confirms no new Arsenal injuries. So it seems like Saka is fine.
Yeah.
Europa League, Junior. There was Europa League games today.
Yeah, and I watched most of the Real Betis
Nottingham Forest game. Ended
Nottingham Forest game, yeah. I watched most of it.
This game ended 2-2.
And Nottingham Forest had the lead for a good portion of the game. But they became too defensive. And I question when the coach come in and say, "I'm going to implement my system by Wednesday," and this isn't what we saw.
Yeah,
we didn't see this at Tottenham with Ange, right? So I don't know. I don't know what to take out of that game, to be honest. Part of me want to say that Real Betis, they fought back gallantly. Part of me want to say that, but you can't. If you are Nottingham Forest, you can't lose it at that. You can't give up the lead at that point. You just can't.
So, do you like this new format of this European League? I want it. Last week it was when the last week or the week before it was all Champions League. Now we are deal with this. Will the Europa League get the CMIs that are more than what it used to do in the past with this new format? New schedule.
That's a good question, because when your people didn't, I'm going to argue, other than the fans for the specific teams, people never looked forward to watching a Europa League game on Thursday. But they knew the game was coming on because it's Champions League week, right? So your question about will they get the same eyes? I think the onus is on the networks to make sure that they establish themselves.
Yeah, I won't be watching that until they get to the later down in that competition. Will not be watching that until they get later down in the competition. Yeah. So the only the game that stood out to you was the Betis Forest game.
Yeah, that game to me, I think Nice was playing Roma as well. I was watching some of Roma because we have vested interest in Roma, which never really got much place, but that also was an interesting game, watching that game. Nice play some ball.
Yeah, so Roma won that game 2-1.
Yeah, but you know what though? The game itself was pretty decent. The games are pretty decent. It's not like they're terrible games. It's just that these are not household names. And worse now with the English teams having more teams in the Champions League, and you have the bug side and whenever make it that far, you don't have that high value watching team playing, right? Because you have Nottingham Forest now. It's like whatever. So there is much of a onus. I think the games are good. Like I was impressed with the Nice Roma game. The quality was good. Nice played some ball. Just became a little bit unfortunate. But they want to play some ball.
Yeah. Looking ahead to this weekend's football games, family. English Premier League games coming up this weekend. Some big games coming up.
No, but yes, some big games coming up this weekend. Well, it's more like statement or season-defining games.
Season-defining games.
Season-defining games, yes. Yes, because all of the teams are so close. You can't really afford to make any big missteps, right?
It's like
and if you're playing against yes, but the teams are so close. If you make a misstep, so take for example, because I know it's my side, but it is what it is. Man U play Brentford, right? If Man U lose to Brentford or draw with Brentford, we're going to come back and say it's just the same old Manchester United. But if Manchester United beat Brentford, we're having a different conversation Sunday. It's going to be, is this Manchester United team for real? Have they turned it around? That's the rhetoric we're going to have. You have Man City play hosting Burnley. Is Man City for real? Granted, Burnley is not the real competition.
They're supposed to beat Burnley, Junior.
Supposed to. I agree, supposed to. But the big game, though, obviously, is Newcastle versus Arsenal. I mean, come on. We don't have to say anymore. And that's really the only game of like equity where both teams have equal matchups is this game.
Big up BM asks about Omari Hutchinson. I noticed he was not in the match day squad for Euro game. Is he injured?
I don't think so. I just think him trying to find himself.
I mean, him can't find himself.
He just transferred in, right?
Yeah, but I mean, I think he was what? How much? It was 26 million pounds and was a transfer fee, I think.
Ain't no matter. If you're not playing good, you're not playing good.
Um,
And plus, we don't know if he's an Ange player. Remember, this is not Nuno anymore. This is Ange. So when a new coach come in, if he sees a fringe player or something, he has to send a message. Hopefully that's not what happened to Omar Hutchinson, but you never know. And I'm
37
seeing here
million
that
pound, 37.5 million pounds. So record transfer.
so we're looking at it. So both Hutchinson and Zinchenko were left out, alongside Angus Gunn, Jair Cunha, and Cubano. Jota Silva, who missed out on a deadline day move to Sporting, has also been omitted, as has Taiwo Awoniyi. Teams are allowed to make up to 3 changes to their List A squad between the league phase and knockout rounds. But he's not in the squad itself, which is a telltale sign. So
What's going on with Chris Wood? Chris Wood didn't play in this game? Different system. He doesn't fit Ange's system?
He might not be an Ange guy. I mean, come on. You're going from Richarlison to Chris Wood. Come on.
But
that's a
Junior,
drop in quality.
I mean, he was the leading goal scorer last year, right, for this team.
Yeah, it's tomatoes. New system, new players, new requirement, new coach.
Mikel Antonio on TNT Sports says that, the Jamaican Mikel Antonio says that Chris Wood definitely has to watch his back. He definitely looks like a real threat, as in the new player that Forrest brought in. Elliot Anderson, brilliant. What name? Anderson?
But all right. We were talking like Chris Wood is a barber. If Chris
we're
Wood
talking like Elliot Anderson is messy. You have a player, Chris Wood, who scored 20 Premier League goals for you last season, and you've gotten to Europe, and then all of a sudden, not Elliot, Igor Jesus. Or Igor Jesus. I mean, come on.
That's true. I mean, it's a ruthless. That's a ruthless conclusion, but yeah.
Yeah. So Chris Wood was out. Igor did score. I think he scored both goals so far in this game. Yes, he scored both goals so far. So the Brazilian. I'm going to say, if you are Brazilian and you end up in a bug side in England, then you need to go change your name to Argentinian. You're not Brazilian. You are Chilean or something. So what's the space regarding Chris Wood? So Chris Wood might be looking for a team January?
Not January, next year.
Yeah, Newcastle maybe.
To go play. Why leave and go be second fiddle to the German Messi? If you leaving to get playing time, you're not getting any time over Waldemir.
The German Messi are one hype. So the man, I'm argue with a man about shirt tugging what here.
We will see this Sunday.
Newcastle versus Arsenal is a matchup of the week this Sunday. Watch along this Sunday for this game.
I don't think that worth it.
Or watch along for the Madrid derby. I don't know.
I think the Madrid derby especially with Atletico Madrid, they did find a way to win today with Julio, Alvarez scoring a hat-trick today. So, and he saved their blushes because Rio Vallecano, I think they haven't won at Atletico Madrid since like 2002, 2003, some weird number like that, some weird year like that, and they came back and took the lead after Alvarez scored first. So that was a nervy game for Atletico Madrid. And Julian Alvarez came back and scored another 2 goals and saved their blushes. This is a big game this Saturday for them with Real Madrid.
Yeah, but we know how it is going to end, Junior. Real Madrid going to beat them. They usually do.
They usually do, but looking at where Atletico Madrid is in the table right now, Atletico Madrid, they're in mid-table. You know that, right?
Yeah, they're sitting in the 9th position.
Yeah, so they need this win. I don't think they'll beat Real Madrid, but this game might be one of those typical Cholo, we against the world, hot-blooded game. Anything can happen. Anything can happen.
All right, to be decided. Family, if we turn on the machine 10:15 a.m. Saturday morning, then we are do a watch along. If we don't turn it on, no watch along. Madrid derby might be. I mean, I think out of La Liga, El Clasico is probably the only game that's worth doing a watch along for, because the other games, even though there's a lot of build up, there's a lot of the Atletico Madrid with Diego Costa. When that team played Real Madrid, yes, we would do a watch along for days and days upon days whenever those teams play. But no, this iteration of Atletico Madrid, no man. Them have to go prove to it, say them worth a watch along.
Yeah.
Them have to go prove.
Beat Real Madrid, and then we definitely catch them on the replay.
Yeah.
And
so this weekend, at best, we don't know if we are doing some watch along this weekend. No football watch along. Let's see how it goes. Junior, before we head home, Mount Pleasant, Jamaican team Mount Pleasant through to the semi-final of the Caribbean Cup. They defeated Central of Trinidad from Trinidad and Tobago 2-0. So Mount Pleasant now through the semi-final. I think Mount Pleasant might, another thing. Mount Pleasant is in a very good chance to win.
They should.
Raheem Edwards opened the score in the 51st minute. And what was the other goal scorer? Raheem and Chevon Walsh buried a dagger in the 90 minutes. So Chevon Walsh and Raheem Edwards, both the goal scorers for the Mount Pleasant.
Yeah, they should. I think this is their trophy to win. Tupper, take it to him. Take it to him, Tupper. Yeah. And in the big game though, in JPL, Arnett defeated Waterhouse 2-1. We chronicled that game and how important that game was for the table as well. And the surprise of the round, Chapelton, Spanish Town Police drew with Chapelton Nilal Monday night.
Yeah, but you notice what Dookie, coach of Chapelton, said in the post-match. He said this is kind of a continuation after the defeat. He said them lose a game, and now this essentially is a draw game. So them are essentially reading between the lines. They are working their way back.
Back to what?
No, he said if them lose the game, it would be a difference.
Well, that's true. I mean, he's looking at it as the cup half full, right?
Yeah, but the police side won their first point in the JPL. This side, and then squad coach, assistant coach, because we couldn't get the head coach, says that even though they got a point, they really ruled their missed chances. So clearly, the police felt that they should have gotten the 3 points. And then Dookie has said this is a continue. It's almost like it's. I read the statement and it's almost like you sometimes used to use this analogy. Sometimes you're playing another game, one game twice.
Yeah.
And it's almost that is the vibe I got when I heard Dookie said that statement.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, you have to get it behind you as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
Respect to the police side, but respect them. But from a Chapelton perspective, you're not gonna win every game. You're going to drop points somewhere. We'll drop the points. Let's not drop the points twice. Let's get up, dust ourselves off, and move on to the next game. I mean, that should be the sentiment. And I think their next game is against, let's see,
Waterhouse.
I mean, but with Waterhouse, though, that Waterhouse just lost to Arnett Gardens. Yeah, this is a tough game.
So which Chapelton team are go forward? The one who just barely got a point for the worst team in the Premier League, the Jamaican Premier League, the Police, or the Chapelton team that started red hot?
Well, if you, because sometimes you have a drop in focus, and sometimes your luck don't go your way, and sometimes the team you're playing against just have a great game.
Junior, the season just started, brother. You talk about dropping focus. The season just started. A 4 or 5 games the money play.
It's a
90-minute
drop
in focus. Their attention span, something needs fit. Then if
it's
you
a
go
90-minute game. No, but it's a game, so you have to have a winner or a loser or you draw. Have to. So you're not gonna win all of them. That would be my message to the players. It happens, but we get over it. We get ready for Waterhouse because Waterhouse will be gearing up for us. Because I think both teams are. No, Arnett Gardens are right there. I was going to say both teams are close to the table, but I think with the Arnett Gardens win, they are the ones that are right there, right here. Arnett Gardens are in 5th, but Waterhouse are in 6th, are in the 8th position with 6 points. They win, they'll be 1 point behind Chapelton. So, and Chapelton have all to play for. They win, they move to the top of the table. Providing other games, scores of other games, of course. But if they win, they guarantee being at least sharing the top of the table. So there's a lot to play for. And that should be the motivation.
Early warm.
Early warm,
Montego Bay and Chapelton all sitting on 10 points. Arnett on 9 points in 5th. Cavalier and Dumbo Holding on 7 points. Waterhouse 8 on 6 points. And Mount Pleasant in 9th position on 5 points.
But with 2 games in hand.
So 2 games. So Mount Pleasant has what? What's been the record so far? They have what? They
have 1 win, 2 draws.
2. Okay. So who do I draw with? Let me see who them draw with.
Mount Pleasant, they drew with
Mullines. I mean, they drew with Bug Mullines.
It was early in the season, and plus
Yeah.
Yeah, they drew with Mullines. They drew with Montego Bay United.
Okay, so the Mobile United I can understand, but Mullines and okay, all right. And of course,
they did beat Cavalier.
They did defeat Cavalier. Okay, fair enough. JPL schedule for this coming weekend fixtures are Racing United versus Tivoli. Dumbo Holding, and these games are on Sunday at 4:30 p.m. Respectively. Dumbo Holding versus Cavalier, Mount Pleasant versus Arnett Gardens, Waterhouse versus Chapelton. Sunday is the 28th, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Waterhouse versus Chapelton. Treasure Beach versus Harborview. Mobile versus Spanish Town Police. And in Monday Night Football, Mullines will play Portmore. Mullines play Portmore Monday night. So weird. So how did the Portmore game go? Cause what do you want man that talk about aside they got them get 200 them. So leading up to this Portmore versus Mobia game, recently concluded game played on Sunday. Leading up to this game, Xavier Gilbert, the coach of Mobia, said, "Boy, the Portmore is gonna be a tough outfit, you know." Maybe kind of implied also that they're defensive.
Yeah.
But them get 2. So why? Mobia United forget to play defense?
Well, I did say on the show though, remember I said that's just coaches speak, and I never like it when I heard it at the time. And so said, so done.
Well, and they get 2 as in Montego Bay United. We have to make sure some specify who got 2. Montego Bay United got 2-0 from Portmore. This is a bit of a surprise result for me.
Well, big up Xavier Gilbert, but hopefully know him learn.
All right, before we go, one last thing, schoolboy football family. A lot of discussions going on about results and scores. And may I have to call out some St. Elizabeth Technical fans. St. Elizabeth Technical defeated Sydney Pagan 17-0. At halftime they led 7-0, and some St. Elizabeth Technical fan. Yeah, 17-0 a post. Tia post boy 1 technical. Junior, is something wrong with that? You beat aside 17-0 and someone a post 1 technical, as in of course it's technical, St. Elizabeth Technical.
So what you want them to do? You want them to apologize?
No, not apologize. There's a difference between 1 technical and apologize. It's a bread. You don't need to say nothing. A bug side you beat up, clearly. And here comes Charlie enough Charlie Mount probably will cuss me out now. We did lose quite a few subscribers with the Flow Sports because of this. Because of my comments about people's school. You know? So, St. Elizabeth Technical defeated Pagan 17-0 Junior. Something off here in the schoolboy football thing. Vauxhall defeated Portmore 9-0. Mona defeated one side 14-1. And by the way, big up to Jamaican Schoolboy Football.com, Jamaican Schoolboy Football on Facebook and on the web, JamaicanSchoolboyFootball.com. I think that's the web. But you can find them on Facebook also. They do a very good job of updating the scores. Very, very good job. So whosoever run the page, or the pages, because they have multiple sites, they might do some good work. Junior, talk to me about these gap in scores and differences in quality.
We see this every year, and every year we rehash the same
Pembroke Hall, yes, 14-1.
We see this every year.
And of course, somebody from Mona say 1 Mona. Everybody know them side kick up a side. You see where Prime Minister calls? Everything is 1 this. No, it's 1 Mona, 1 technical, 1 this.
Yeah, but every year, I mean, we rehash this conversation, then it becomes, should they have divisions, and should they make it, how can we make it more even? Yo, let's spend the money and get some beat up, and when we reach a business end, at least the youth them can go class right now. I feel comfortable both ways. Right? Because if a side gets 17 love, yo, you can't go to school tomorrow, man. And you don't feel bad about it. Because, 17, if it's 4 or 5 love, you feel away. But once you pass 6, brother, you're just not good enough. The side is not good enough, and we understand. Big up yourself, Sabia. We'll keep moving. So there's nothing to talk about. We talk about this every year, and then when those teams get knocked out, because I don't want to disrespect them, when they get knocked out of the competition, and then the bigger boys them start playing, Then we talk about how competitive schoolboy football is and how people follow it and blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, everybody get to play the game. And look, some teams are better than others. It is what it is. I just say it.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. We do this every year. Every year our side get beat up on at the CM Sankey.
Yeah.
CM Sankey. I mean,
It ain't gonna
defeat
change, man.
Fogo 9-0. Yalas defeated Fear Prospect 4-2. I mean, so you go. I that you know.
Yeah, man. Good show.
And
Great
I
show.
think referee Dal give Stats one penalty when it was 11-0.
So you want to refer you to?
Referee wicked.
I big up BM. BM says Bullet learned from last season. Just be quiet and dribble. Notice you don't hear him talking a lot this season. That's true.
This is true.
Yeah.
This is true. All right, our sports fans, big up to Marcus Collins of Bright Idea Sports who joined us earlier to discuss NFL, a long NFL discussion because you don't know a slow day in other sporting news. So we had a lot to say. If you're a fan of the NFL, check out that discussion. You don't know Marcus will join us next Wednesday at 9 p.m. again for more NFL news and stories. This weekend we have Ball Chat Weekly at 5 p.m. Eastern. We're not sure about the watch along setup for this weekend. West Indies will play a T20 game against Nepal. If I can find a stream, I might be able to jump on for the tail end and give you some update.
Willow is carrying it.
Willow. All right, big up. So, supposed to can do a thing, but other than that, family, have a safe week. You know, I that we are going where we are. Big up yourself. BM, chat safely out the road, family, and all those who listen us.
Big up.